Kara Abattoir, popularly known as Kara Market, which is on the outskirts of Lagos along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway near the popular Ojodu Berger bus stop. The Kara Abattoir is one of the many abattoirs along the River Ogun's course. The abattoir itself is very significant to the residents of the area and those of the metropolitan megacity of Lagos. The significance of the abattoir lies in its role in the daily life and activities of the residents. Over 50% of the meat consumed daily in Lagos City is from the Kara Abattoir. The wastes generated from the Kara Abattoir are mainly cow droppings, wastewater, unused animal feeds, ash, black smoke, gaseous emissions, and partially combusted materials. A team of scientists from the University of Lagos in 2014 conducted a research to assess chemical parameters of the water and sediments of Ogun River at Kara Abattoir and to carry out a preliminary investigation on the chemical availability of heavy metals in the water and sediments of Ogun River at Kara Abattoir.
Chemical parameters that we looked at.
Dr. Rose Alani is one of 3 scientists who conducted the research.
So we looked at several locations on the Lagos Lagoon. And on one of the locations, throughout the whole Lagos Lagoon, one of the locations that we saw that was interesting is that mouth of Ogun River at Ikorodu, near Majidun, so where the Ogun River discharges into the Lagos Lagoon. We discovered there that that place was highly polluted at that location where the Ogun River discharges into the Lagos Lagoon. And then we decided to really look into Ogun River and see what is really happening. And we developed our interest at Kara because of their abattoir at that location. And, because of the health issues that could come up on consumers.
The water samples were randomly collected at 5 different points along the river. The first point was near the dredged area upstream. The second at the point where a smaller stream joins the Ogun River. The third is located at the point where the abattoir wastewater discharges into the river upstream just before the bridge. Another was near a dump site downstream just after the bridge, while the 5th point is located near New Isheri Village by Golden Spring Hotel, downstream after the bridge. The results indicated high risk of contamination when compared with the United Nations Environment Programme and the World Health Organization's limits for effluent discharged into rivers. The risk was even more pronounced at the 3rd point where the abattoir wastewater discharges into the river. The color of the Ogun River water at Kara was yellow at all the points. This was particularly caused by the discharge of waste from the abattoir, domestic sewage, agricultural, industrial and market-related sources, and even human wastes.
The presence of the nutrients, nitrates and phosphates also are the reason for the growth that you are seeing. And where you have low dissolved oxygen, low dissolved oxygen because of the high pollution level there. So the oxygen there is depleted. And so even for animals that lives there, it could kill them. And so because they need oxygen to survive. So oxygen is depleted, and then the depletion of the oxygen also enhances release of phosphates. So even in our results, in our findings, we saw where we had very low dissolved oxygen, we had high phosphate level. And the particular level that we had constant discharge of that blood, that particular location, we had very low dissolved oxygen because of high pollution, and then high phosphate level. And we saw also at that place, we had high growth of those weeds.
With respect to locations, the concentrations of heavy metals in Ogun River sediments varied at different locations at 0.5, 3, and 2. The concentration is very high.
We found out that the heavy metals, we had some heavy metals that they were really high, higher than the recommended limits by WHO. We got cadmium between 0.09 to 0.016 milligrams per liter in the water. And the chromium also 1.286 milligrams per liter. And then iron 0.428 to 2.486, and lead 0.109 to 0.109, about that. And this all exceeded the WHO limits for water. And then in the sediment also we found some heavy metals also exceeding WHO and Federal Ministry of Environment's own limits, such as copper, 1.51 to 7.04, and then zinc also exceeded, and iron also exceeded, lead also exceeded. All those ones that exceeded in water also exceeded in the sediment.
At the Kara abattoir, the animals drink cadmium-enriched water from the Ogun River, and so there are possibilities of cadmium accumulation in the meat obtained from that abattoir. Animals eating or drinking cadmium sometimes get high blood pressure, liver disease, and nerve or brain damage. Human uptake of cadmium takes place mainly through food. Foodstuffs that are rich in cadmium can greatly increase the cadmium concentration in human bodies. It takes a very long time before cadmium that has accumulated in kidneys is excreted from a human body. Unfortunately, for too long, proper inspection of the activities along the Ogun River has been neglected. The question is, could this be responsible for the events of the 17th of June at the Kara Abattoir area of the river?
It's not that it's just overnight. It's the availability of nutrients, the condition for it to grow very well, and the turbidity. Actually, the constant disturbance of that water is also bringing some sediment and the suspended solids up. And then those suspended solids, they are carrying the nutrients. And the nutrients, apart from what is coming from under, is still flowing in. And so the weeds, they could be released, and they can, the seeds can be moved by air, by wind. And so when they land, they find very fertile place to grow. And then then you have some solids also that are suspended and that are brought up. And so they stay there. And then as they stay there, the other ones are also settling, coming up and then sticking. And then as the growth goes, it can grow in a short while. The place is already very fertile and, nourishing for them to grow. So when it starts, you might not see, but it will just bloom. It will, and just cover the place. But water is still there under, definitely. And also, people have to be careful. Water is still definitely there.
At the moment, more research is being carried out by both Dr. Alani and her colleague, Professor Babajide Alo, both lecturers at the University of Lagos, on the presence of organic pollutants in the Ogun River. The duo found that there is a high water concentration of lindane at a level that exceeded safe limits. It is not only at Kara that the pollution is high. River Ogun is one of the many rivers in the southwestern part of Nigeria with a total area of 22.4 square kilometers. During its course, it constantly receives effluents from breweries, slaughterhouses, dyeing industries, tanneries, and domestic wastewater before finally discharging to Lagos Lagoon.